remember our past by revisiting childhood memories. But for Jenny Cockell, her past encompasses another lifetime, in another country, with another identity. Reincarnation? You decide.
In a Dublin hospital, Ireland, a young woman lay dying, alone and terrified of what should become of her 8 children. The year was 1932. The woman's name was Mary Sutton. In England, more than 20 years later, a young girl, Jenny Cockell, had recurring dreams and vivid memories of another time, another place. 2 separate lives, one tragically ended before its time, the other haunted by familiar but unexplainable memories. This is a story which truly stretches beyond time and beyond the imagination. Jenny Cockell grew up in middle-class England, but in earliest childhood memory, her life was torn between the life she lived and the recurring bits and pieces of a past life revisited. She felt the pain and terror of a dying woman and the burden of the young children she left behind.
I used to wake up from this dream again and again in tears because I knew it had happened. I knew I couldn't change it and I wouldn't resolve anything until I had found the children.
Jenny's mind was filled with memories of a village where she lived as a woman named Mary.
I remembered walks from the house into the village, back again. I knew roughly the distances and I just drew maps from what I remembered.
The map Jenny drew marked shops, roads, a railroad station, and a home. In 1988, Jenny was put under hypnosis. The results were intense and opened a Pandora's box of emotions for Jenny, both painful and hopeful. The life Jenny remembered was that of a young Irish woman, Mary, whose time was spent looking after her young children and cooking.
Most insistent memory was when I had the responsibility of children and worrying about them and what was going to happen.
Memories of the husband were vague, almost as if she didn't want to remember him. There was also the vision walking alone on a wooden jetty toward the water, waiting for something or someone. With a map of Ireland in front of her, Jenny found herself drawn to a certain place on the map, a coastal village just north of Dublin called Malahide.
It was essential then to just go to Malahide, go to the village, and do what I could to try and trace the family.
Once in Malahide, Jenny made an incredible discovery. The map she had drawn as a child matched that of Malahide, the first proof on the road to discovery. A farmer in the area remembered the family which fit Jenny's description. Their last name was Sutton. A priest in Dublin traced 6 of the Sutton children, most of them born in the 1920s. The possibility of them still being alive today remained Jenny's only hope. Jenny's recount of Mary's death was vivid and uncanny.
I just remembered the hospital room in considerable detail and leaving the body and my husband coming to the side of the bed and knowing that I was leaving the children behind.
Then a death register was found. On October 24, 1932, Mary Sutton died in Dublin's Rotunda Hospital of gangrene, pneumonia, and toxemia. The most important question still remained. What happened to the Sutton children after the death of their mother? In her research, Jenny found 5 of the 8 children were still alive.
One of them had been adopted, and the girls and boys anyway had been sent to different orphanages and had lost contact with each other.
Sonny is the oldest. He was 13 years old when his mother died. The first time he spoke to Jenny was over the telephone.
Jenny had that same gentle, soft voice that my mother had. I got up and I sat down on the chair beside my wife. And it must have been about maybe 2-3 minutes, and I never said a word. And my wife turned around to me and she says, "What's wrong with you? You look like a ghost." I said, "I've been talking to a ghost." I said, "If I wasn't talking to a ghost, I was talking to my mother."
Eventually, Jenny and Sonny met face to face.
If you do that with your hand across my mother's nose and Jenny's nose, the resemblance is in her eyes.
Sonny's memories of his childhood were exactly as Jenny described her life as Mary.
The things that she told me, nobody else would know. Even my younger brothers didn't know. I did, but my younger brothers didn't.
He listened and he sort of just looked at me for a moment. He said, but you couldn't possibly have known that. How could you have known that? We didn't tell anybody.
The story behind the Sutton family was a sad one of suffering and relentless abuse. It soon became clear why Mary was terrified of dying and leaving her children behind.
My father was an alcoholic. He was a drunkard, and he used to beat my mother up, and he used to beat the children up.
Shortly after giving birth to the 8th child, Mary died. The baby, however, lived.
4 to 5 months after my mother died, the family was split up.
Sonny couldn't forget his baby sister.
61 years, and I never seen that child. I never knew where she was or anything about her. And that baby was Betty.
Betty grew up unaware she even had brothers and sisters. In 1993, 60 years later, there was a reunion. Finally, the brothers and sisters were together again after so many years of separation. For Jenny, seeing the children together, her joy was tremendous.
I always figured that it was my mother trying to get the family back together again.
This need just to make sure the family were all right. I didn't expect them to accept my story. I didn't really know even if it was the right thing to tell them.
But Jenny did tell them.
I'm a Roman Catholic, love. We don't believe in reincarnation. Well, we're taught not to. But now I do.
They all went to Malahide, the village where the story began. For the Sutton children, Jenny's story became a chilling reality.
She was able to find the house, she was able to find it, and she knew the road, and she was able to find, she knew where they used to go up, the road they used to go up to an aunt. And she knew the church they went to and everything.
Today, only the ruins can be found of what was once the dwelling of the Sutton family, but the memories remain.
She knew kind of that Christy was the devil of the family, you know, and he still is. And Frank was the real quiet one, and he still is.
Although Jenny is now in regular contact with all the children, Sonny is the one she feels the closest to.
Sonny's the one I had the best relationship with, probably. And I do find I need to see him fairly regularly. He needs to see me. So there is a bond there that will always be there.
A bond which spanned across time and death, and a mother who reunited her children against all odds.
I think Jenny is quite happy now. She's found a family, as she says in her own words, her lost family, or family of her past life.
In man's continuous search for his identity, we often ask, who are we? Where do we come from? But when we do find answers to some of our questions, let's remember the answer is not always the end of the story, but often a spark that ignites a whole new chapter. This is Patrick McNee. Until next time, with more mysteries, magic, and miracles.